Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanandi. Three, 44. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, this is Canto 3, Chapter 23, Text 44. Vibhajya nava-dhātmānaṁ mānavīṁ suratotsukām rāmām niramayan reme varṣa-pūgān muhūrtavat vibhajya navadhātmānaṁ mānavīṁ suratotsukām rāmām niramayan reme varṣa-pūgān muhūrtavat. Please chant. Varṣa-pūgān muhūrtavat mānavīṁ suratotsukām rāmām niramayan reme vibhajya navadhātmānaṁ rāmām niramayan reme Vaishnavis. Vibhajya navadhātmānaṁ Mānavīṁ suratotsukām, rāmām niramayan reme, varṣa-pūgān muhūrtavat, mānavīṁ suratotsukām, rāmām niramayan reme, varṣa-pūgān muhūrtavat, vibhajya navadhātmānaṁ, mānavīṁ suratotsukām, rāmām niramayan reme, varṣa-pūgān muhūrtavat, vibhajya. Having divided nava-dhā into 9, ātmānam, himself, mānavīm, the daughter of Manu, Devahūti, surata, for sex life, utsukām, who was eager, rāmāṁ, to his wife, niramayan, giving pleasure, reme, he enjoyed, varṣa-pūgān, for many years, muhūrtavat, like a moment. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. After coming back to his hermitage, he divided himself into 9 personalities, just to give pleasure to Devahūti, the daughter of Manu, who was eager for sex life. In that way, he enjoyed with her for many, many years, which passed just like a moment. Purport. Here, the daughter of Svāyambhuva Manu, Devahūti, is described as suratotsuka. After traveling with her husband all over the universe in Mount Meru and the beautiful gardens of the heavenly kingdoms, she naturally became sexually stimulated. And in order to satisfy her sexual desire, Kardama Muni expanded himself into 9 forms. Instead of 1, he became 9, and 9 persons had sexual intercourse with Devahūti for many, many years. It is understood that the sexual appetite of a woman is 9 times greater than that of a man. That is clearly indicated here. Otherwise, Kardama Muni would have had no reason to expand himself into 9. Here is another example of yogic power. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead can expand himself in millions of forms, a yogi can also expand up to 9 forms, but not more than that. Another example is that of Saubhari Muni. He also expanded himself into 8 forms. But however powerful a yogi may be, he cannot expand himself into more than 8 or 9 forms. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, can expand himself into millions of forms, ananta-rūpa, innumerable, countless forms, as stated in the Brahma-saṁhitā. No one can compare to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any conceivable energetic manifestation of power. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Kripa sindubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I beg the blessings of all the devotees that I might speak according to the parampara system. So, here, Kardama Muni has again manifested his mystic opulences. Previously, he manifested his mystic opulences by creating this amazing aerial, practically city in which to travel around the universe. And now he's again manifesting his mystic opulences by expanding himself into 9 forms. So, people would generally hear this and think, yeah, come on, this is mythology. This is some stories from some ancient fables. But our understanding is that every soul is part and parcel of God, part and parcel of Krishna. So the child of God, how much power should the child of God have? So much power, right? So this is not so impressive that he's manifesting in 9 different forms, and by his powers he's creating this. He's a child of God. He's a child of God who's uncovered, not covered. The present condition of the living entity in the material world, covered by this material body, a bunch of matter, very, very downgraded condition of life, embarrassing condition of life. The glorious soul, part of God, child of God now is in a pitiable condition. And even the people who are highly placed in the material world, let's say on the planet Earth, strutting around, chest pulled out, thinking, oh, I'm the fortunate one. What is their destiny? Their destiny is eventually they'll be hunched over and crushed by the material nature. And whatever they think they have, whatever asset they have, will just be taken away from them. That's a guarantee. So it's not surprising that the living entity in their more uncovered condition has mystic powers. Not at all surprising. And Prabhupada repeatedly in his books, he's describing the siddhis of the mystic yogis. The yogis are to a large degree uncovered. Their nature is uncovered. And they're able to manifest certain powers which ordinary people can't manifest. Anima siddhi. What does anima siddhi mean? Smaller than the smallest. The yogi can become so small, can enter inside of an atom. Wow, that's pretty impressive. But here Prabhupada is saying that nothing can compare Yogeshwara, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Krishna is the master of all mystic powers. No one can equal, not even close. Krishna is the master of all mystic powers. Certainly he can enter into an atom and very comfortably, hands stretched out, not crunched up in the atom, hands stretched out. My spiritual master used to say that Krishna, he can go inside the atom and go jogging. And he'll never reach the end of the atom. And who can say, no, that's impossible? Who can say that's impossible? No one can say that. Certainly Krishna can do that. What else can the mystic, larger than the largest, the mystic yogi can become magnificently large. Again, Krishna is the supreme mystic. How large does he become? Yasyaika nishvasita kalamatava jivanti loma vilaja jagad andanata. He's laying down in mystic slumber. Says he's creating, manifesting innumerable universes. How many universes? You can't count them. It's like a bag of mustard seeds. Who's going to count? Innumerable universes. And he does it absolutely effortlessly. We have a saying in English, I could do that in my sleep, right? That's a saying. So literally, Krishna is doing it in his sleep. He's laying down in the causal ocean and he's resting, mystic slumber, and from the pores of his skin, the universes are manifesting. How big is that form? Someone might say, yeah, but those universes are coming out in a seedling form. So Krishna could also make them come out in a fully grown form. Like this universe, how big is this universe in diameter? I'm asking because I've heard 4 billion miles across. So Krishna could lay down and from the pores of his skin very easily, effortlessly. 4 billion mile wide diameter universe could come out from his skin. No problem at all. That's Krishna. These are not my reading glasses. Prakamya Siddhi, the city that's the yogi has the ability to fulfill any desire he has. The yogi has a desire, and unlike the ordinary people who are toiling, struggling so hard to fulfill any of the desires that they have, the yogi can fulfill their desires. But Krishna, his desires are never impeded. No one is able to impede the desires of Krishna, the will of Krishna. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Enjoyer. And everything is positively acting under his supreme direction. And the yogi has the ability to manipulate other living entities, control the minds of others. And if someone is a genuine yogi, an exalted yogi, who's achieved that yoga siddhi through the discipline of Ashtanga yoga, then they won't misuse that power so much. But we have certain living entities who acquire a glimpse of that power. You know, they get a glimpse of that power to control other living entities, and then they misuse it. They misuse it to mislead people and to convince people that they are the supreme. And because people are not thinking clearly, they think this person is claiming to be God. Other people are claiming that they are God. Maybe they are God. No understanding of who God is. There was one fellow, crooked fellow. He was one of the avatars of God, supposedly, and he was living in San Diego, California. And he was congregated on the beach with some of his followers, naturally female followers, many of them. And my mother, simple lady, she didn't go to university. She was passing by on the beach. And she saw this guy sitting on a big, opulent chair, surrounded by all these people, lots of women all adoring him. And so my mother asked, who is this guy? She said, oh, everyone thinks he's God. My mother said, this is God? So she raised her hand. I have a question. And the guy said, yes, what is your question? My mother, she said, so please tell me what my name is. God was defeated by the housewife. So they misuse their power, mislead people. But the devotees of the Lord are not confused. They know who God is, Bhagavan, the source of all beauty, all power, all knowledge. This is the real Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. And if you go to Rishikesh, you'll find also in Rishikesh, there's some yogis who have a little glimpse of power. They've accrued some power. And do they use it for elevating people, for convincing people of the importance of... No. What do they use it for? Simply to manipulate some innocent souls. Sex life. That's what they use it for. Some naive yoginis coming to Rishikesh with the idea of... And she becomes manipulated by this person's little tiny power. Savidvarahostrakharai. Hogs and dogs. So the hogs and dogs, this is their ambition, sex life. Yes? And so this so-called yogi, he's the same as the hogs and dogs. There's a difference. The hogs and dogs, they have no mystic power. But he has a little glimpse of mystic power, and he's misusing it. So this is all very impressive, all of these mystic powers. And if you go to the higher rungs of the universe, and then you go beyond the universe to Vaikuntha, the residents of Vaikuntha, oh, they have mystic power. So much mystic power. But they never misuse it. Every part of their power that they're granted by Krishna, by Vishnu. They're using it in the service of the Lord. They have shape-shifting abilities. They serve the Lord by manifesting themselves in different forms for His pleasure. They can manifest vehicles for the pleasure of the Lord, and they travel around in those vehicles. And what is the nature of those vehicles? The vehicles of the residents of Vaikuntha. One vehicle is more valuable than the opulence of 100 universes. And if one takes a look at those residents of Vaikuntha, their beauty, their power, their opulence, all the ornaments they're wearing, the vehicles that they're traveling on, one might mistakenly think these people are engaged in sense enjoyment, because it looks like it. It looks like they're enjoying life like anything, singing beautiful songs. And who are they accompanied by? They're accompanied by females who are indescribably beautiful, like goddesses of fortune. So someone might think, are these sense enjoyers? But these residents of Vaikuntha are worshipped by the greatest of spiritualists. Worshipped, their feet are worshipped because they're completely renounced. They have no inclination at all for enjoyment, although they're surrounded by an ocean of opulence. They're not at all influenced by it. Everything is simply for the pleasure of the Lord. And somehow, there's a realm which is even beyond Vaikuntha, a mysterious realm, which even the residents of Vaikuntha, even they don't have with all respect to them, they even don't have a proper understanding of that realm, Goloka Vrindavan. They're thinking, this is it. This is the highest realm. Vishnu is here in his supreme majesty, in his glory. What could be higher than this? And they hear about Krishna in Goloka, Krishna performing his pastimes. This is something that Vishnu sometimes does. But they don't understand that that's the highest realm, beyond Vaikuntha. It's a most mysterious realm of existence, rarely understood. Krishna. I was sitting in a restaurant in Los Angeles, Govinda's restaurant, with my cousin. And he's from a Muslim background. And I was very happy. He was taking prasad, and we were chatting about I don't know what. And just behind me, there was a picture of Krishna sitting on the lap of Mother Yashoda. And so my cousin looked up at the picture and says, "What's that picture?" So in my mind, very quickly, racing in my mind, so what should I explain to him? Well, my dear Muslim cousin, this is God. And previous to this scene, he was engaged in all sorts of mischievous activities. He was stealing butter. He was pinching the neighborhood children. He was causing all sorts of havoc. And then he came to his mother, and all of the ladies came and were complaining about him. But he was appearing so innocent that the ladies became mesmerized. So I thought, no, I can't explain that to him. That's way, way, way above his pay grade. So I looked at it, I said, this is just Indian art. That was my answer, just Indian art. So in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, Purushottam Yoga, this is beyond Brahman realization, beyond the realization, the understanding of Paramatma, is the understanding of Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yo mam evam asammudho janati purushottamam sasarva vid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me, Krishna is saying, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam mayanaga etad buddhya buddhiman syat krita krityas jabharata. Krishna is saying this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. And whoever understands this achieves perfection. Even the Vishnu understanding, to understand that God is the Supreme Person, this is very confidential knowledge. But beyond that confidential knowledge is this understanding of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. Because the great devotees, they're enchanted or mesmerized or awed or so appreciative of the mystic power, of the opulence, of the power of Krishna. But the residents of Vrindavan couldn't care less about it. And Krishna doesn't even care that much about it. Yeah? He's the reservoir of all power, but that's not so concerning to him. He'll reciprocate with those devotees, of course. They want to worship him in awe and veneration. They're fully satisfied, and he's also satisfied, reciprocating with their love. Their love which is, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, weakened by that sense of his awe, by that sense of his majesty, by that sense of his glory. But sometimes Krishna thinks that it's been a long time since I've given the residents of the material world that most special type of prema, that most special type of love. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Lord is expressing that now is the time. I want to come to the material world and I want to taste the sweet, sweet mellow of the pure exchange of love with the residents of Vrindavan. And what else? I want to give it to others. I wanted to give it to others. Because that love that's weakened by that sense of majesty is not fully satisfying to Krishna. Most satisfying to Krishna is the love which is unrestricted, which is free of the conception of his godhood. Just like the love of Mother Yashoda. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is feared by fear personified. The wind is blowing. The demigod in charge of wind is thinking, I better do my duty. I have to do my duty. Why? Because the Lord is there. The sun is shining. All the natural functions are going on because of a sense of duty of the demigods. Out of fear, the wind is blowing. Out of fear, the sun is shining. That's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, feared by fear personified. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also afraid. He's afraid. He's in the storeroom and he's stealing butter, and is he doing it peacefully? No, he's a little bit anxious. Is Mother Yashoda going to catch me? I know I'm doing something wrong. And he's afraid, and Mother Yashoda catches him. And the Supreme Lord, who's maintaining all living creatures, no one is independent. Every living being, from the top to the bottom, all the demigods, so powerful. They don't have independent power. It's just granted by Krishna. Everyone is being maintained. Without the maintenance of Krishna, the demigods will starve. What to speak of everyone else? But Mother Yashoda is in anxiety. She's thinking, oh, this Krishna, if I don't feed him, he'll be hungry. He's dependent on me. Krishna is going off into the forest, and Mother Yashoda is very concerned that his meals are properly prepared, and that he'll be satisfied when he's in the forest, and there won't be any lacking. And then she's afraid for his safety. So she's organizing the cowherd boys. Balaram, you stand on this side. Sri Dama, you stand on this side. You make sure that you protect Krishna, because there's demons in the forest. There's fear in the forest. And Krishna's relishing. Krishna's relishing this feeling of Mother Yashoda as his protector, as his maintainer. He relishes that more than anything else. And his friends, the cowherd boys, there's no formality, none at all. Vaikuntha, everyone is with folded hands, offering reverential prayers, always aware the Lord is there, and offering these beautiful hymns, beautiful. When Gop Kumar came to Vaikuntha, the Vaikunthavasi said, okay, now you're going to meet the Lord. This is the proper way to conduct yourself, right? Here's the proper way to address the Lord. These are the names you address the Lord by. These are the prayers you offer to the Lord. And Gop Kumar was listening. Okay, that's how I'm supposed to act here. Finally, he saw Vishnu. He forgot everything. He's a cowherd boy. He went, Gopal! That's his mood. The Lord relishes that intimate friendship of the cowherd boys. They don't have a sense of His majesty. No. I was hearing Acharya commentary that Krishna, he came to Mathura and he was greeted by Kuvalayapida. He vanquished Kuvalayapida. Then he went inside the arena and he wrestled. Chanura, Mushtika. Who else? Chanura, Mushtika. Then Shala and Toshala. Yeah? Krishna and Balaram wrestling against these powerful, huge. That's what they were designed for fighting. They were so powerful. It seemed like a total mismatch to the spectators and the audience. Total, and they defeated them. Shala, Toshala, Chanura, Mushtika, they defeated them. And then after the wrestling was finished and they'd killed all of these powerful wrestlers, then the cowherd boys said, oh, let's have a wrestling. And then the cowherd boys defeated Krishna. So the cowherd boys have no sense that this person is my superior. He's my beloved, my dearest friend, my most intimate friend. It's interesting. In the material world, everyone is trying to minimize the glory of God. What's the material world? But based on that nasty, horrible envy of the nicest person, the best person, the kindest person, the sweetest person, the supreme person, the best friend. And everyone is envious of him in the material world. It's so horrible. Trying to minimize his position. And then if you go to the highest realm of the spiritual world, they're also sometimes minimizing his position, but out of pure love. And he's relishing it. They're about to have a match, a wrestling match, Krishna and the cowherd boys. And there's a technique you do when you're going to have a duel with someone. You try to psych them out. Kshatriyas do this, right? Kshatriya, who are you? I will vanquish you. I'll send you to the abode of death. Right? This spirit, it's called trash talking. In the material world, we call it trash talking. And then in the mixed martial arts, they're always trash talking each other. So everything originates in the spiritual world. But there it's in its pure form. So the cowherd boys, Krishna, he's thinking, I have to psych the cowherd boys out. I have to convince them that I'm going to win this next competition. So Krishna announces to, I forget whether Sridama or Subha, one of his most, says, do you know who I am? I know you. I've known you since eternity. Yeah, I know you I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Sridama announces, Krishna's the Supreme Person. Everyone starts laughing. So his attempt to psych them out failed. He says, but just consider, what have I done? I lifted Govardhan Hill for 1 week with one pinky of my left hand. Let's think about that for a second. What else did I do? I entered into the mouth of Aghasura, the great powerful snake, 9 miles long, and I killed Aghasura. Like that. And the cowherd boy said, no, that's not what happened. Govardhan Hill was lifted by the piety and by the prayers of the residents of Vrindavan, not by your. We were the ones who. Aghasura, by the time you entered Aghasura's mouth, he was half finished anyway because we were already inside there. So they're minimizing Krishna out of pure love. The cowherd boys of Vrindavan. And Krishna especially, he's conquered, he's overwhelmed, he's enchanted by his most exalted devotees. All of them are exalted beyond description, but the gopis of Vrindavan. If my beloved consort reproaches me in a sulky mood, that steals my mind from the reverent hymns of the Vedas. So everyone is bewildered by the energy of Krishna. But Krishna, he's bewildered by his most intimate associates. So bewildered. Sometimes he's been milking cows for eternity. He knows how to do it. But sometimes he's trying to milk a bull because he's confused, seeing the beauty of Srimati Radharani. So this is the most exalted understanding of the Supreme Lord, the most confidential realm of existence. So what's God doing? People don't even ask the question. Most people don't care what God is doing. They just want to know, what can God give me? They approach God and it's, give me this, give me the supreme Amazon in the sky. That's what it is, Krishna. Just approaching God with a long list of desires. And Krishna's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Fine, you're at least approaching me. Eventually you'll get it right. And you'll come to understand that I'm the most valuable thing to have. But no one's concerned. No one's asking, what is God doing? So what is God doing in Goloka Vrindavan? Just having fun. Just enjoying life. Beautiful, beautiful engagements. So somehow or other, this most glorious gift, which is beyond description. If you take the pleasure of Brahmananda, the pleasure of being free from material existence, free from all suffering, and you multiply it, how many times? 10 million times? It doesn't equal an atomic portion of one drop of the ocean of ecstasy that the soul experiences in love of God. And that's granted to the most unqualified people, the people of Kali Yuga, by Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha. So it's been given. The process has been given. The path is open. And success is guaranteed. You chant Hare Krishna, you do your best to serve. As long as a person doesn't commit Vaishnava aparad, as long as a person maintains an attitude of respect for all living entities, that much, success is guaranteed. We see devotees doing all different types of services, coming from all different types of backgrounds. This one's coming from a very, very high background, socially high background, pious birth. This one's coming from a very unqualified background. But very soon, that's not going to be what that person looks like. Very soon, that's going to be a gopi or a gopa, most likely. That's just a fact. That's a fact. In the next life, in 3 lives, in 5 lives, in 10 lives, that's going to be a gopi or a gopa or some resident of Goloka Vrindavan, as long as they don't commit Vaishnava aparad. So that's a nice way to see other devotees. It's a nice way to see them. Because I tend to see devotees just on the basis of the body. Oh, this one, I don't like this one so much. Just see the modes on this one. Huh? Look at this one with their faults. Right? All this discrimination, bodily conception of life. But that's not how Krishna sees those devotees. Krishna is so appreciative. Dhruva Maharaj's mother, Suniti, Suruchi and Suniti, his stepmother, she offended him before he was a pure devotee. Before he was a pure devotee. And what happened? She got a strong karmic reaction before he was a pure devotee. So just that one thing, to walk with some humility, which is just to be sensible, realistic. Who am I? Who am I? I have such a fallen background. Even now, I have so many poisons in the brain. What's my business to point out the fault of this one, that one, the other one? It's not my service. It's someone's service, very difficult service. But why should I take that burden on myself? No. If someone can just do this one thing, then Mahaprabhu is okay. All right. Mahaprabhu will keep his glance on that person. And then the path to success is guaranteed in this life, in the next life, and soon enough. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We have some time left. Does anyone have any questions? Janmashtami Prabhu, or comments?
Hare Krishna. Ooh, wow. Wonderful class, Prabhu. Someone ends up in Vaikuntha Loka. Is there any scope of his going to that? Is that a sarup, a change of sarup?
Well, someone asked that question some time back. So as far as we're concerned, because that's kind of what we're concerned with, what's our situation? We're chanting Hare Krishna. We're worshipping Radha Krishna. We're following Srila Prabhupada, who's a resident of Goloka Vrindavan. It would be very surprising if we ended up in Vaikuntha. It would be like, what am I doing here? There's some glitch. The soul has free will. And Krishna, he reciprocates with the desires of souls. So if a soul wants to serve Krishna in a different capacity, then that freedom is there. That freedom is there. Krishna fulfills the desires of the soul more than the soul can want. Like his mystic powers, he expands himself. Why? Because there's devotees who want to serve him in different capacities. So it's not like, well, there's just one of me, so sorry, wait in line. Just like when they're out and herding the cows. They're just having fun and the cows are following along. But they're herding cows and they're enjoying life, and then Krishna becomes tired, so-called. And he's laying down on the lap of a cowherd boy. And one of the cowherd boys is massaging his feet. What if one of the other cowherd boys thinks, oh, I would like to massage Krishna's feet? So what is it, get in line? No. Take a ticket? No. Krishna expands himself. And the cowherd boy thinks, well, I'm the most fortunate. I get to massage Krishna's feet. So Krishna's fulfilling all desires. So if someone is situated in some position, Vaikuntha, and they somehow get some understanding of Goloka Vrindavan, and they desire to serve Krishna in that capacity, why would Krishna not fulfill that desire? Of course he'll fulfill that desire.
One other question. I've been reading a lot of Srila Prabhupada Lamrita, and it's scary. Lord Chaitanya had a specific desire to spread Krishna consciousness worldwide. He didn't make it easy, very intense, the endeavor that Srila Prabhupada went through, so many struggles. I just was reading about his stroke or heart attack. There's difference of opinions on what he went through, and then all the devotees were just crying because they were thinking that they wouldn't see Prabhupada again when he went back to India. But then he came and then he did even more than what he did prior to the stroke. So, but it seems like Krishna makes it challenging sometimes to fulfill his desire. It's not like it's easy. Oftentimes it's difficult, as you know. You've had many services over the years. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Ramesh Prabhu, would you like to comment first? Answer it first? Okay. As you direct. Yes, please, Ramesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for that really sublime class. Residents of Vaikuntha are in their swarup. There's no question about that. It's not on the way to something. That is their constitutional, natural devotion for God. There is a devotee that I know that I've considered more advanced than anyone I've practically ever met in my life. I mean, apart from Prabhupada, of course. His name was Jayananda Prabhu. When I described to Srila Prabhupada his disappearance, Prabhupada wrote back and said, he has been immediately transferred to Vaikuntha Loka. So our understanding of the position of a soul in Vaikuntha and the position of a soul in Goloka, while we're in our puny brain covering, more things have to be revealed to us when we become pure devotees, and then we'll understand it. But Jayananda went to Vaikuntha Loka. He's the most advanced devotee I know. So I'm just saying, that's his swarup. That's his constitutional rasa. And he achieved it. And one other thing I just wanted to say about this text and purport. When we think of sex desire, we think of personal sense gratification. That's not what Devahūti was thinking. She had the most intense desire to have a child just like God, so she could associate with that God being in the mood of a mother. Her sex desire was to have children, not personal gratification of senses. So there's such a big difference between human and animal sex desire and the sex desire of a pure devotee like Devahūti. Otherwise, why would God have appeared as actually in her womb as her son? She's a pure devotee. So we need to distinguish. Thank you, honey.
Thank you very much. Janmastami Prabhu's question, in my limited understanding, Krishna's orchestrating everything, and when we consider and meditate and narrate the history, the story of Prabhupada's life, it's clear that Krishna has orchestrated it in such a way that he's glorifying his devotee. Prabhupada underwent so many challenges, you know. Krishna could have also arranged that some rich person flew him over from Bombay to New York with full facility to start the movement and lots of money and donors. And Prabhupada, Krishna didn't do that. Krishna sent him over on a boat, so many health challenges along the way, sent him with 40 rupees plus $20 in his pocket. And it's a story for the ages, you know, for thousands of years. Everyone will be saying that this 70-year-old person came to America penniless with no support, and it's glorious. So it's Krishna's way of glorifying his devotee. And as far as us, the challenges we experience in trying to share Krishna consciousness with others, you know, I was working a book table in California, and it was a really tough day. So it gave me the opportunity, Krishna was orchestrating, it gave me the opportunity to pray in a way that I can never pray otherwise, with such intensity. My dear Lord Krishna, please let me serve you. Please, I want to serve Prabhupada. But, you know, in a way that ordinarily I wouldn't be able to pray with that intensity. So that's also Krishna's kindness, Krishna's arrangement. If it was easy, then how intense would we be? We wouldn't have the opportunity to intensify our desire to serve. So, this is my limited understanding. Yes, please.
Thank you for a very nice class. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya tried to convince Murari Mukta to think about Krishna, but he didn't want it. He was a Ram devotee. So like you know, we can see sometimes you really made it to serve a God that it's for you, it's your spirit, you know. So just to give an example of that issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, one more question, and I think we'll wind it up.
In the journey of a soul, how do you explain that some souls, they come to the movement they're very into it, or they get parents that influence them to go towards spirituality. And all of a sudden they turn like almost complete materialism and even atheism. How do you explain this? Why does that happen?
The soul always has free will. The material energy is so powerful that even someone who's very well situated, seeming to be very strong, clear in their understanding of the goal of life, engaged in devotional service. We have examples from the Shastra of people who are super exalted, even in the stage of bhav, who got sidetracked by the illusory energy. What to speak of everyone else? So that's one possibility, that the illusory energy is so powerful, so confusing, that if one is not extremely careful, that at any moment one can be diverted from the path. And we can also understand that if someone commits Vaishnava aparad, then that can also cover a person's intelligence, and they can be very well situated, and if they're not careful and they commit Vaishnava aparad, then the mercy will be withdrawn from them temporarily, and they'll have to experience material life. Even to the point where somehow the nature of offensive mentality and the nature of offensive speech is that it has a certain type of momentum. Someone gets into the habit of fault finding, and then it just has a certain type of momentum which carries that person, and it almost becomes like second nature for a person to do it. And it might even come to the point where someone becomes critical of Prabhupada, incredibly enough. What to speak of becoming critical of other devotees? A person can even become critical of the purest devotee. So these are two possibilities that I'm seeing.
Would you say that Krishna would allow them to have a little part of their life with sense gratification to clear out that desire, and then after they will take back?
If that's what they want, Krishna will facilitate it. But it's not a big deal. If someone is just overwhelmed by material desire or temporarily confused, Krishna will bring that soul to the right point eventually. We tend to look at things in the scope of one lifetime. Oh, in this lifetime, this person has strayed. So what? Not so what, but they're going to suffer. But one lifetime is nothing. And typically, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 6th chapter, after lifetimes of practicing, then one finally comes to the stage of perfection. So it's not at all surprising that those with a lot of baggage typically don't achieve perfection in one lifetime. It's not a problem. In the scope of eternity, 2-3 lifetimes is nothing. Thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.